Okay, good afternoon again. Just thought I'd do another video. As you can see, I've acquired a new drone. As I mentioned before, I'm quite new to the drone scene, and I unboxed the Mini 3 Pro, which I'm actually having to send back. It's a bit faulty. There was an IMU recalibration that I needed to do, but I kept doing it and it kept needing it to do it again. So there was obviously some kind of fault in it. So that's going back. But while all that was happening, I was looking for a bigger drone. Because I actually like these bigger drones. I actually prefer them. It's a bit like pocket cameras and DLSRs or mirrorless, that kind of thing. I'm not a lover of pocket cameras either. And don't get me wrong, the minis are great. And I probably will get another one because purely it's less restricted for flying. But I did want one with a bigger sensor. I wanted that larger sensor. And I was originally looking at the 1-inch sensors, but then I came across this and thought it was a pretty good price. When I thought of if I bought the Mavic Pro 2 or the Air S2, was it a Mavic S2 or Air S2? One of the 1-inch sensors. But then I thought, well, this has got a Micro Four Thirds, and I thought for the not considered for another 300 or 400 quid, I thought it's probably worth, and the more up to date system and everything else. It seemed a bit of a no-brainer, really, just to go for this one. So that's what I've done. And I think that will be better, especially for like nighttime shots or, a lot of things really. Of course, you're a lot more restricted with this, 150 metres, no overflying residential areas or anything like that. Of course there is. I mean, fortunately I do live in a semi-rural area, where there are places I can take this and fly without having to any worries. But at the same time, I was looking at all and I've got the relevant flyer and operator ID now, so I can fly this. And obviously you should get them, and obviously you should obey by the rules. But I was looking at the rules, and I do think they're a little bit silly. Like most things in life, I think these rules that aren't made by people that one either do the hobby or have any clue about it, or I mean, how many people have been arrested for flying a drone? I know the most recent one was actually a football game I was watching, the Chesterfield game, a few months ago. And apparently he got off £3,500 fine, but most of that fine was nothing to do with the drone. It was, and I think the only reason he got caught was because of a driving offence. You correct me in the comments if you want, but as far as I'm aware, I think it was a driving offence. Nobody was searching him because of the drone. He just happened to be caught. Stopped for a driving offence, and he said, "Oh, you stopped me for the drone or something," and that's how it come about. Otherwise, he may well not have never have been done for the drone incident. I mean, I don't know the full facts. I haven't read it. That was so. Please correct me if I'm wrong on any of that. But yeah, so, and I think the rules are stupid because if you've got a Mavic Mini Pro, for example, if I put like an extra landing attachment onto it, um, which may make it 250 kilograms, then I've suddenly got to start treating that like this, 150 metres or 492 feet, which seems a bit ridiculous because I'm not even. I mean, this weighs obviously quite a bit, but it's not that heavy. It really isn't. And what are the actual chances, even if I was flying it round here, what are the chances of it actually falling out the sky? I guess not a lot, really. I mean, possibly at night time, maybe, and the avoidance systems aren't working, which I don't think they do at night. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you're flying these at night, all these sensors that will avoid trees and whatever do not work during the night. So you are more likely, if you are going to hit something, it probably will come to the ground. But I guess, I mean, I would only do that in a secluded spot where, I mean, if I was going to take a night shot, I wouldn't be flying it very far from where I was, and I would probably be keeping it, pretty close, so it didn't fly into anything, and I'd probably try and choose an area that was pretty clear of trees, common sense kind of thing. And let's face it, most people that would spend money, 12, well, I mean, some of these drones are really expensive, aren't they? I mean, these people aren't going to fly around like this idiot did over the football field. And let's face it, guys like him are idiots, and you're never going to stop idiots. But I don't think that is a reason to make the rules so severe that you're actually almost trying to suggest that everybody with a drone is an idiot. And I really do think that's what these rules do. We have seagulls around here that are twice as heavy as this, and there's far more of them. You're more likely to be hit by a seagull than you are one of these drones. So I do think the rules are a bit ridiculous. And the other thing is, I don't think you're going to have a policeman every time you take your drone out and send it up, that you're going to have a policeman not far away with a tape measure that's 150 metres long and a pair of weighing scales. So, I'm not saying don't follow the rules, of course I'm not, but use your common sense, and I think providing you are taking enough safety precautions that, maybe you don't have to do everything to the absolute letter of the law, let's allow, because the rules don't don't allow for any common sense, but I think real life does. I should imagine most policemen go through their lives never having come across anybody with a drone. So I really, abide by the rules, yes, but let's allow for a little bit of common sense. I don't think a little common sense is going to hurt anybody. You don't fly things over live football matches, obviously, but that doesn't mean you can't fly something the other way. And I think the chances of these things falling out the sky are probably much more likely than an aeroplane falling out the sky. I don't know of anybody that's actually been killed by a drone falling out the sky, unless of course it's a military one. like in the Ukraine at the moment. I think they might be a bit more dangerous than your Mavic 3 Classic. So I do think you have to use a little bit of common sense. So there you go. I'm going to look forward to the weather's not at all. It's windy, wet, so it's totally not the. I'm setting it up today, but I don't know when I'll be taking it out. I'm out all day tomorrow. The weather doesn't look too great at the weekend either, so at the moment I've no idea when I'm going to be able to give this a test flight. But so there you go. Automatically, I'm using a bit of common sense. I don't need to be told this. It's just common sense, isn't it? You wait for the right weather. But when I do take it for a fact, I'm not going to be taking the tape measure with me either. But again, I will use some common sense, not to be flying it towards anything that it could possibly cause any damage. Excuse me, that's me dog barking. Anyway, I just thought I'd update you on that. And shush! Anyway, I thought I'd sorry about that. I'd update you on that. And I want to talk about the auditors. And that's probably now the other one's off. So I'm going to probably do that in the next one. Anyway, I'll leave it for there now because the dogs are off. And I'll speak to you in the next one.